Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Aha Moments podcast with me, Kobi Omenaka. My guest this week is Brooke Miles from Delaware Shoutout. Now, I first came across Brooke when I was starting my process of trying to understand LinkedIn, and I went on YouTube. And Brooke and her company Delaware Shoutout, that's her YouTube channel by the way, appeared when I typed in how to use LinkedIn properly.
There have been a couple that have come to me that they have 30,000 or more followers, okay? And I'm like, okay, yeah, but really nothing's happening with it.
So if you want to understand how to use LinkedIn for your business, then Brooke is a fantastic first person to reach out to. Here are 3 key takeaways from this episode of Aha Moments podcast.
And the first one was horrible. I literally had a piece of paper in front of me. I'm just reading it, and I'm still doing ums and uhs. And
firstly, when you start doing anything, when you take that first step, when you start putting yourself out there, the first iteration isn't going to be good. The second iteration might not be good, but keep going. At some point, it will click.
You can send as many posts as you want through your company page. You're not going to get nearly as many followers, nearly as many people seeing your posts, nearly as many people engaging, because how many people are so excited to engage with a logo versus a person?
If you're the founder of a company, try and work and connect with people through your personal profile, not through your company page. Number 3, sometimes people don't actually really know what they need when they're looking for services like yours. But that's okay. Your job is to guide and shepherd them in the right direction.
You have to give people what they want in order to bring them to what they need.
Brooke Miles, thank you so much for joining me on the Aha Moments podcast. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. We've had a mild autumn or fall, as you guys might call it. I'm not sure which part of the states call it fall versus autumn. But today it's just gone a bit torrential. So bunkering down a bit. But apart from that, we have to talk about the weather because I'm from the UK. So we have to talk about the weather at any point, opportunities.
Gotcha.
Whereabouts in the States are you?
We had a pretty hot summer and it's been cooling off. And actually, it's really funny because I have numerous friends in Europe. So what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to think in Celsius rather than Fahrenheit. So yeah, I recently changed
That's much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. So I recently changed my phone weather to Celsius. So if anyone says, oh, what's the temperature? I'm like, it's 15. They're like, what is? I'm like, I don't know, but it feels nice. It's a little brisk. I don't know what that is. But so I'm just, because it's kind of like learning a language. Instead of translating, just start thinking in that language. So I'm trying to think in Celsius. So it's going to take a little while. But yesterday I took a walk in 10 degrees and I had to wear a jacket. And I was like, okay, that's what 10 feels like, Yeah,
10. But I'm happy. If it's dry, I'm generally happy. It's the wetness that comes with it, because if it's dry you can just put more layers on and you don't get the wet throughness factor. And one of my favorite things is when it's really crisp but blue skies. I really love that kind of weather. But then as long as I've got the gloves on and the coat on and the thick socks and thick shoes, then it can be a really nice feeling. Not all the time, you know.
I understand. In the summer that would be horrible.
Yeah. Where in the States are you?
I'm in Delaware, so pretty much right in between New York City and Washington, D.C. And
it's full on East Coast. That's where a lot of the companies get set up, isn't it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, the main thing that our state is known for is we're the state that people drive through to get somewhere more interesting. So it's like, oh, I've been to Delaware. I drove through it. That's the most common thing. So, but I actually live there, waving to the people who drive by.
We did actually the same with Seattle, Washington, because my wife and kid and I went to Canada, Vancouver, and we drove down to Portland, and we swung by Seattle because I had to see the Sky Noodle.
Yes.
I just felt like it's a bit of a waste, but also I don't know when I'm going to be there again. So I don't know how many people drive through Washington State, but we were one of them.
Gotcha. That's so funny. Awesome.
So Brooke, you came onto my radar because of YouTube, and that's why I want to talk to you, because that's you're putting stuff out there into the ether and is resonating. YouTube says, hey Kobi, listen to this lady, listen to this person, listen to them, they know what they're talking about. And I do, and I'm like, yeah, they know what they're talking about, and then we then connect via LinkedIn. So I'd love to know, I'm going to take it back let's start with the YouTube side of things, but when did you start? What made you first start posting to YouTube? What made you think this would be a good thing for me? And why do you think other people should or maybe shouldn't do it?
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So technically, I started my channel the same year that I started my business, which was in 2014. Right. However, from 2014 to 2020, I basically used it for like, if I happened to make a video, which at the time I just hated video. Well, let's put it this way. I knew it would be a good thing to do, and I'd encourage my clients to do it, but I was too scared to do it, okay? So it's one of those things where I would dump a video there that I had to make just in case I lost the raw file. Like literally,
Sure.
that's what it is. So like once a year there was
So
something.
an archive.
Yeah, basically an archive. And I'm amazed that I even had 12 subscribers in those 6 years. Like, I don't know, they must not have had lives because I don't know who would subscribe to that, but they did. So, but in 2020, we all know what happened, and we're all, in lockdown and all this sort of stuff. And for that, one of my main ways of earning new clients was through in-person networking. Well, in-person networking went away, and one of my clients who was very linked with the government's health system and all that was saying this isn't going away anytime in the foreseeable future. So I thought, okay, I need to kick it up a notch. So I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I don't know if you've ever seen the graphic where you have there's a little circle and says comfort zone, and then there's a bigger circle next to it and says where the magic happens. So you have to go from the little circle so I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, out of the little circle, and go into the big circle. And I will tell you, the first at least 50 videos were not good. The first one was horrible. I literally had a piece of paper in front of me. I'm just like reading it, and I'm still doing ums and uhs, and I was just like, I started with like, hi, so here I am in my living room. So let me tell you, it was horrible. So
is it still, can we still see it? Should we want to?
Oh, that's a good question. I might have unlisted it, but if you need it, I can get a link to you in case you ever. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty bad. But okay. As long as you give yourself space to learn, I did learn, and it really was a step-by-step thing. I mean, from scripting better to feeling more comfortable in front of the camera. I'm still a little bit of a nervous wreck in front of the camera, believe it or not, and it takes me a very long time to get the right words. I say the same thing over and over again till it sounds good, kind of thing, till I move on to the next sentence or half sentence or something.
That's it. I mean, you're using the benefit of editing there, right? So obviously it takes the process is longer, but then you're happier at least with the outcome that you get, right? So maybe does that diminish the nerves, or does it make it a bit more fraught that you can't maybe do like a newsreader and just push everything out with one thought?
I can't do that. It's funny because like you and I are talking, I'm totally fine. When I'm with my clients, I'm totally fine. Yeah. I do in-person public speaking, totally fine. Webinars, totally fine. But something about just me and the camera, alone with the little camera lens, that little fisheye, then I'm like, what? But you know what? I edited, and the main thing I think about is, if I were the person on the other end watching this video, and I could watch a million other videos, and I clicked on this one, I need every second I really try to make every second worthwhile in some way. So that's my goal. And so I would rather not be the person who just kind of rattles stuff off, and, maybe I kind of get around the topic a little bit, eventually I get to it, and maybe I'm a little wordy, and eventually look at the idea, because I'm wasting other people's time when I do that, and we only have so much time, and then we die. Now, and I do believe in eternity and all that, but and I'm not going to, but on Earth, we only have this much time. So I really want to make sure if someone took some of their finite time from me, I want to make it worthwhile. So it is important to me to say the same thing over and over again till it sounds right, and then I just edit. Like I'm in the middle of editing a video that will end up being about 6 minutes. It took me 53 minutes to say everything. I'm not joking. It was 53 minutes.
So guys, when you listen to this or watching this podcast episode, I will do an intro and outro to Brooke. And that intro and outro will be maximum 90 seconds for the intro and outro. And that will take me at least 10 minutes. So it's just what it is. And I fully agree with you. And I work with clients with their podcasts, and during the recording, they're great. They're gregarious and they're happy and they're smiling and everything's going well. And it's okay, great, that's recorded. Now can we do the intro and outro? And they just kind of melt. And I'm like, I know exactly where you're at, because I did the exact same thing. And even though it's like maybe 50 words you need to say, my brain just goes, you're not going to speak anymore now, Kobi, properly, as a human being would do. You're just going to become a gibbering wreck. And that bums, and what bums me out about it, it's not that I've become a gibbering wreck, it's the fact I know that it could take 90 seconds, but it's going to take like 10 times that, and I'm like, oh, it kind of bums me out. I'm like, oh, I've got to sit here knowing that I'm going to fluff it, but then 10 times longer than it needs to be, and then the editing is going to take that much time because I need to find the best versions out of that potential nonsense that I've put together.
And then it's so like, oh, and then you have to like watch yourself like stumble, and you're like, come on, Brooke, just get to the point already. I know one of these is good. Where is it? And then what's so bad is sometimes none of them are that good. You thought one was good, you're like, and then you just have to choose the best of the worst.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, and you're not going to re-record, because whatever.
You've got other things to do.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad, not glad, but it's heartening in a way to know that a seasoned pro like yourself goes through that as well. I'm always heartened as well by, I think Mr. Beast's first video is still on YouTube somewhere, and that is interesting. And someone told me that I think it took like 400 videos before he got a big one, quote unquote big. I don't know what that means, but that's just for me and consistency and learning and compounding and getting better step by step until there's a point where there's like a tip-off point. And I think the reason I asked you about your first video that you did, because I was thinking back to the Mr. Beast piece of like, you did it, and that's the main thing, and that's way ahead of so many people who would not even press record, or they press record, recorded it, and then smash their computer up because they didn't want anyone to to ever see what they've done.
Yeah. The reason I don't smash my computer is I'm too cheap to get a new one. So otherwise I would have I just have like a whole series of computers and just smash them. But that's not really effective. By the way, you did ask about do I recommend it for other people?
Yeah.
And sure. I think there are two criteria. One of them is, are you comfortable in front of the camera, or are you willing to get comfortable in front of the camera? Okay. Actually, there's another one, and that is, do you have the time and resources? So you have to either, again, there has to be a comfort, either current or prospective, and the resources, because it does take time. I have found it completely worthwhile, and I will say that I actually just enjoy the art form of it now. Like I look forward to making my next video, not because it's like, what prospective client is going to see this, and because it does happen, but because each one is like a little piece of art in my mind. So it's really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's why it matters that you take the time to do the edit. It matters why you take the time to do the retakes. It matters because that's, a lot of source of the stress is like, how can I make this work as well as possible, right? So
yes.
I love it. I have not considered it an art form, but of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So the big question is, then, you went from in-person networking to virtual teaching and networking via that route. Did it work? Does it drive business? Do you get customers and clients through the YouTube channel?
Yes. Yes. And I have to tell you, this is horrible. So I love people. I love having conversations with people, but I'm an introvert. Okay. So being behind a screen is but it's just, it actually gives me a little more mental space. I mean, again, there was a huge amount of value going to in-person networking events, and I still do a little bit of it, but walking into an event where there's a lot of noise and people are talking, and then I'm overwhelmed by it, and then I was like, okay, who do I talk to? And it looks like everyone's having a conversation, so whereas online, I think it's a little more structured in terms of how you can enter conversations, comment on someone's comment or something like that, or, so it's been going really well. I mean, YouTube definitely saved my business during the pandemic, for sure. Wow. And the great majority of my clients come from YouTube. They usually find me on YouTube first, and then, because there are way fewer people like me who are on YouTube, like LinkedIn, strategists and consultants who are on YouTube. So it's less crowded there from my industry standpoint, that is. People find me there, and then they track me down on LinkedIn, and we nurture the relationship and kind of get from there. And then before you know it, you end on someone's awesome podcast. So it's seriously, that's as much of a gift to me also,
Oh, is it? Oh, I mean,
yeah.
Thanks. Am I the awesome podcast? Or is this the awesome podcast?
This is yours. You know what I mean? Yeah.
One thing I love about the YouTube piece, too, persists as well. Because with sometimes I hesitate to call, not hesitate, but sometimes, is YouTube a social media channel? Is it not? Is it, part of the general kind of web 2.0 piece? But the content you put out there persists versus TikTok is gone with an instant. Instagram, if you're not, it just fly by night, and it's just gone. But YouTube is just like, no, the content still works. So watch it. Watch Brooke Miles's content from 3 years ago. It still works. Yeah. Obviously, LinkedIn, what you teach on LinkedIn will change, and there's new things coming out. But a lot of it will still work, and YouTube will still serve up because it's still relevant to people who are searching for those things. And I think that's one of the pieces that I don't monopolize or utilize as much as I could do, certainly.
Yes, it is amazing, the longevity of the videos. I mean, my most popular one is more than 3 years old. That I get the most comments on, and people have found me on and stuff like that. I just had a networking one-on-one with someone today, and she's like, yeah, I found you because I was looking to, I was trying to figure out how to start my LinkedIn company page, and your video popped up. So it's really interesting how that works.
So I was going to ask specifically, what is that most popular one? LinkedIn, was it LinkedIn company page? Was it?
Yeah, okay. So this is what bugs me a little bit. The topics that are the most popular are really not the most important ones that people should know. Right. Okay. Oh, it bugs me to no end.
Important to who, though? That might be the crux of it. Important to. Can you define importance?
Yes. So, for example, a huge question is how to start a LinkedIn company page. And from my experience, the most important part about a LinkedIn company page is having one that has your logo, so that way you can have a logo appear in the experience section of your LinkedIn profile, which links to your company page. That's basically it, because you can send as many posts as you want through your company page. You're not going to get nearly as many followers, nearly as many people seeing your posts, nearly as many people engaging, because how many people are so excited to engage with a logo versus a person, right? So, but what I do is, it's funny, if you look at my channel, and by the way, my channel is Delaware Shout Out. If you look for Brooke Miles, you'll never find it. Or maybe you'll find me, but it's Delaware Shout Out. But yes, if you look at my channel, you'll notice that the videos that start with the title of how to have way more views.
Right.
It's the how-tos. But what's interesting is that those bring in the most traffic, but the ones that are most geared usually to the client that works best with me are the ones that are not how-tos.
Oh, what are they then?
No. So they're, for example, they might be a strategy that someone didn't think of, or it might be commenting on, what is better, articles or posts. Or I just did one on, it's super, super niche. Not that I expect that many views for this one, but I did a whole study on, if you put a GIF in a comment, is that a good thing or bad thing? And it was based on polls I did, as well as research into the engagement of GIF comments versus non-GIF comments. So, but I have a ton, about how you should be thinking about LinkedIn, specific ones about, your headline or your about section, that sort of thing. So, but
people do still want to know, okay, what size is the banner? How do I put the banner on my profile page?
Yeah, exactly. And I have those. Yeah, sorry. They have those. So one thing I have, I think I knew it, but I never put it in these words. And that is, in marketing, you have to give people what they want in order to bring them to what they need.
Right.
So my how-to videos, and especially the ones like how to start a LinkedIn company page, or how to get premium for free, stuff like that. And they're very only tiny little ways you can do it. But those are the things that people think they want. And then hopefully after they watch that, they watch more of my videos, and then I show them, their feed and stuff like that. And then I show them what they need.
I think, that's definitely the way you need to think about it a bit more, from not just on LinkedIn, across the board from a marketing perspective. It's people are going to find you. And then if they like at least the way you explain things, they hopefully stick around a bit more. And if they like the way you explain things, then more often than not, they're going to be a good client fit for yourself. And I'm sure, what's the not caliber? What's the kind of fit personality-wise of the clients that come through via your YouTube channel versus other means? Are they more your type of person? Are you happy to work with them versus maybe what you were doing pre-videos?
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. I think I tend to attract, well, I think it's changed a little bit because in my videos, again, keep in mind that I'm like saying same thing over and over again till I get exactly right. So by the time I get almost exactly right, I'm like high energy. I'm like, da 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 da, because I've said it like 10 times before, right? So imagine a whole video that's like da 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 da, right? And so the people I attract are da 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 da, you know, like very like intense. You know, it's kind of interesting. And sometimes I actually have to like bring them down a notch. Like, you know, once they, you know, we finally meet, it's like, okay, no, this is really good. But let's, we don't need to spend 2 hours on this post. We can spend, 10, 15 minutes on it, and it's okay. And trying to adjust their mindset about it, basically. So, yeah, I tend to attract major go-getters on LinkedIn, which is really interesting. And I've polled my audience on certain things. I'm like, for example, like, are you on LinkedIn on the weekends? Yes, totally. Like, I'm like, gosh, I'm not on LinkedIn on the weekends, and this is my job,
I mean, I'm on LinkedIn on the weekends. I don't spend much time. I post on there and I'll hang out for a few minutes. But I am there at the moment, at least. I'm trying to get to 365 days of posting because that's what I've said I was going to do.
Oh, you're just like me. Don't do that. No. Okay, can I just tell you a story? Okay.
Sure.
Well, actually,
please.
You're going to have to listen to it because okay. So I decided I wanted to. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Pillsbury Bake Off, or the company Pillsbury. It's like
the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yes, exactly. So they have like a bake off, like it's sometimes every year, every other year, something like that. So it's happening right now. If you want to submit a recipe for $50,000, it used to be $1 million, but they went down to $50,000.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but it's due this Sunday, and I've been working on it for several weeks because the contest is a very short period of time. And the only reason I kept on going with this is because I happened to tell a couple of my friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the contest. I'm going to be submitting something. I don't know how many times I'm like, I really don't want to do this anymore. Like I keep on trying and trying. I'm like, I even actually did a new batch right before our recording right now. Okay. Like, cause I was like, okay, I'm done video editing right now. I need to make another batch of this stuff. This is going to work. And I have to enter this and I'm not going to enter. And it's killing me. So I have to tell you, I don't know if it's killing you, but it sounded to me, the way you were saying it, that this isn't necessarily bringing you joy.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Maybe my inflection was incorrect there. It's more the fact that I just put myself in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 365 days for no particular reason apart from I want to see what happens, and I'm excited to see what happens. And for me, a lot of the time I've got the post in my head or I've pre-planned it already, so the weekends aren't consumed by it. It was more the fact that I got an idea in my head and then I thought I'm going to do it. But that has often driven a lot of the things I've achieved in life. Like, oh, I should go to Thailand. I'm like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to work out how to get there. Or I'm going to do half Ironman. I'm like, well, I'm not fit enough right now, but maybe in a year and a half, 2 years, I will be there. And I was more commenting the way my head works with trying to come up with an idea and then executing on it.
Have you considered scheduling out some of your posts so that way you can take a break on the weekends, but the posts still go out?
Oh, yeah. I schedule 99% of the posts.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
100%.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I mean by I'm not like they go out live, I'll check. I go, okay, that's good. And maybe if there's some interesting comments, I'll comment to that, but I'm not sat there doom scrolling on LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
So what was your business beforehand? Was it LinkedIn Guru?
So I was the marketing director of a marketing agency before that. Okay. And then before that, I was I guess you could say director of business development for an ad specialty company. So like companies that, slap a logo on any three-dimensional object kind of thing. So I did that, but in both of those roles, and especially when I was doing marketing for the marketing company, that's when social media was like really starting to make a huge splash. And,
Sure.
People were, realizing, okay, I don't know what this is or what I'm supposed to do with it, but this looks pretty good. So I started off with my eyes on all major social media platforms. And then I just realized over some time that I really only like LinkedIn. I don't care for the other ones personally. Now and I think part of it is that while no platform is perfect, and LinkedIn isn't, people are generally mostly better behaved on LinkedIn. And so it just seems like a nicer place to play. Again, not perfect, but it's just, if I go on Facebook as an example, and I've just had to almost just stop myself from looking at it, it just probably somewhere between the first and the fifth post I see, there's going to be something that depresses me or gets me angry. And I just can't handle it. Life is too short to get that. So, whereas on LinkedIn, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's an interesting perspective, and I just think there's way more value for your time, personally.
I completely agree. And whether you're looking to build a business or not, I think I have way better time on LinkedIn than I have on other platforms. And quite a few of my friends are trying to build up our profiles over the past couple of years, and tends to be women, tends to be people of colour, tends to be women of colour. They get more abuse than men generally. LinkedIn, it's way less, but they still get the kind of, hey, how you doing? But on other platforms, it's like off the scales and charts in terms of just people harassing for whatever reason. So just as that kind of side-by-side comparison, I do see how maybe it's the fact it is business presenting, maybe it's the fact that you are actually, there is a benefit to verifying your ID, putting your ID and stuff on LinkedIn, that people notice that it's you, that people are better behaved, to use your turn of phrase.
Yeah.
I sometimes worry that people are just like hiding. There's a facade that scale's going to drop when you meet people in real life, because they don't want to be kicked off LinkedIn because that could lose them all their money and time and stuff. But it's still, at least on the face of it, a much more pleasant place to be on a daily basis.
It is. Well, I would say that in general, most people have some type of facade, and I think everyone has like at least a slight thing, going on, and it's just a matter of how much of a facade there is. But even on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, a lot of times it's, let me show you as my best self and my best life. It's either that or like some deep misery. There's nothing in between. Like I had an average day today. No, it's usually just one or the other. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you laugh while you were drinking.
That might be. I wonder if there's an average day Instagram account where it's just someone
that would be so
waking
awesome.
up and brushing their teeth.
Yes.
Yeah, just like, I'm just gonna have a bowl of cereal.
Teeth. Yeah. Just like every day. I had cornflakes. Looks all good. So what I have found interesting, and I know, you and I had obviously, you and I had a discussion, beyond LinkedIn, which kind of led to this, is, I've been trying to be more and more proactive doing Zoom calls with people that and it can only be a small percentage of my network, when you have, a few thousand, there are only so many people you can talk to. So it's the ones that seem most interesting to me. But you really get a much better sense of that person. And again, we're still kind of on our good behavior, but you don't see the perfect, Photoshop face with the perfect blah, blah, blah. And, you just see that person and you hear their voice and their inflection, and that makes it a whole lot more real for me, for sure. Getting the conversations off of LinkedIn.
Yeah. So for your clients, are they happy with you, Delaware Shout Out and Brooke Miles, when they work with you, and like the transformation you give them and confidence you give them on LinkedIn?
I believe so. Based on, I would say their money speaks for itself, because usually when our 10-hour retainer is over, it's like, okay, how can I keep on working with you?
Right.
So that's how I get that. So yeah,
that's a KPI right there, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And I get referrals and all that, so which is fantastic. But how do I put it? And what also just brings me joy is, even just at the end of any session we have, it's like, okay, that was a really good call. I learned this, and then I see the progress that they've been making. And for some people, there are some clients who come to me. There have been a couple who have come to me that they have 30,000 or more followers. Okay, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but really nothing's happening with it. Like they're posting and they get 2 likes and that's it, or nothing's happening despite what appears to be a huge amount of popularity. And then I also have people who are starting from scratch. So the people starting from scratch is just building that system so that they can continue it and feel confident is great. And then for the people who already have a presence, but something's not working, it's more a matter of, okay, let's figure out what you're doing well. Great. Let's keep that going. But you know what? I see these 6 gaps. So let's work through these one by one, and I'll hold you accountable to that.
Love it. Let's go to the aha moment questions.
Okay, sounds good.
So this podcast is called Aha Moments, which we've got 3 questions which I ask everyone. The first question is, for a customer, either in your current role or a previous role, can you describe an aha moment that you get them to? Can you tell us what that aha moment is or was, and then how you kind of crafted the journey to get them there as soon as quickly as you could do to make sure that they realised like the full benefit?
Gotcha. And so what's interesting is that one of the biggest aha moments I have gotten recently, or that I've dealt with recently, was actually an aha moment that a client gave me. And I thought that was just, and this is someone who, again, just someone who has a lot going for them. And I'm like, wow, they hired me kind of thing. So, and he was, he and I were just having some, one of our sessions and stuff like that. And he said it very, very nicely. He said, one thing that I started doing is I started seeing if I can not talk at all when someone else is talking and not interrupt them at all when someone else is talking. And even when I want to say something, just wait for them to completely finish. And it's really amazing how much you learn and how much they feel comfortable expressing themselves. And that was his way of saying, Brooke, you're interrupting me too much.
Oh, really?
But he said it in the nicest way. And it's funny because I find interruptions like completely annoying and like, wow, how rude. But when he's like, but it's something that he had been working on as well. And he was sharing that he was working on it. And he said, you might want to try that. And what I've noticed is that when I try to, I'm doing so much better now. I try to let someone completely finish, everything they're saying. And I wait for a pause just in case they're still thinking something else. And it's amazing how much more they wanted to express if I had just let them. And I really thought that the only times I was interrupting is, for example, let's say they were going down a path and I just knew that it was not a constructive way to have that conversation because, because I'm on a retainer, like every moment counts, right? They're paying for, every minute, every hour. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make the best use of their time and I'm going to stop where they're talking right now. So that way I can say, oh, no, let's talk about this instead, or no, let's reframe it this way. I thought I was doing them a favor. But it turns out not. And what's really interesting is that over the last few months, probably the last couple months, the conversations I've been having with clients, I feel like I'm doing very little talking and I want to say things. I'm like, you don't realize how much you're interrupting until you try to be really quiet and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, seriously. But I take notes. And then, once I feel like they've just said everything, it's like, okay, can we just go back to this for a second? Da, 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 da. And those have been some of the best conversations we've had. I've given them the space to be completely heard. I felt like I was hearing them and leading the conversation in a way that would be constructive. Again, it was with good intentions, but in the end, it wasn't as good as just letting them have their space. So it's been really awesome. And then that also reminds me of something that I just saw. Sometimes you see stupid things on YouTube Shorts, but sometimes you see something really, really cool. And someone said recently that, he said, instead of trying to be interesting, be interested.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was interested, but when you don't interrupt, you're 100% interested.
So how does that work for you a couple of follow-up questions for that is, has that been, what are the sessions like? What's the kind of feedback like since then? And are you still getting the same amount of progress with your clients? Because I presume, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that you, like you said, you were thinking, okay, I've got a retainer. I want to make sure that I'm imparting knowledge into them. And that's what they're here for, is knowledge. But maybe part of it is they're here for a bit of catharsis and a slightly different relationship. Of course, they want to get to a place where they're better on LinkedIn and better doing, but also it's not as simple as a transactional.
Exactly.
You teach me the thing, how to do the thing relationship.
Yes. And I just noticed I interrupted you right there, so I'm still working on it. But, I don't feel like my relationship with my clients has ever been transactional. It really has always been relational, but I feel like even more so since I've been talking less, it's like, wow, Brooke, that was a really great conversation. I still want to make sure again, but what also sometimes happens is that people are able to answer their own questions. It's almost like we're doing the Socratic method, but they're asking themselves the question, and so, but again, I do take notes and I do make sure that, we're walking away from the conversation with something that's going to be, or numerous things that are going to be constructive, but just giving people the space to be completely heard and also let them talk through things on their own. Because ultimately, if my job is to empower people to do LinkedIn on their own, then shouldn't I give them the space to empower, to be empowered, to learn how to empower themselves and think through things and stuff like that. And I'm there to guide it.
Yeah, absolutely. The other point I was going to make related to that was I've rarely done coaching, but I remember when I used to do a lot of like triathlon stuff, I got a nutritionist to help me to see if there's anything obvious that I was like not doing. And essentially, long story short, there's a lot of stuff I was doing wrong, which I thought was good. And basically, cooking from scratch is the best way to do things, and that was great. But what she'd do was she'd give me a meal, the meal plan for the week, and I'd go away and make it, and I'd be like, okay, that's good. And then after a couple of months, she's like, you don't ever comment on anything that I give you, and I was like, well, I'm just kind of following what you're saying. And I wasn't really, she was like, are you unhappy? I was like, no, this is good. I like the jambalaya. I've never made jambalaya before. Thank you very much for introducing me to that. So for yourself, as that person, as the teacher, as the mentor, as the coach, when you get someone like myself, who's just like, not placid, but just, they kind of get on with the thing. Does that help you in any way? Does it make you second guess yourself? Does that make you think like, am I doing the right thing with this person? I'm wondering if I'm like now, because I'm not so effusive, even when some things are going well, if that's really helpful. If I'm, what would you kind of make from that situation, working with someone like myself?
When I don't have too many clients that are the way you're describing, and I will tell you, it would make me a little nervous, but if, for example, I see that they're doing, what I'm suggesting, and we're seeing the results from it, and they keep on asking questions and extend the retainer. So again, if I'm seeing the actions more than the word, actions speak louder than words. We all know that. So I would say that. So from what I'm hearing from, what you got from the nutritionist is you're following the meal plan and everything is going, because if you were disappointed with anything, you would have not continued with it, or you would have, whatever, but you're still, so it's, your actions are showing that you're pleased with how things are going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would prefer like a billboard that says Brooke Miles is amazing, but I can't get that all the time. So, you just have to look for the actions.
Well, I've got a light board for you.
Notice, thank you.
Second aha moment question is, can you think from your personal perspective, an aha moment in a product or service that you have bought into? What was that moment, and what was the product or service?
It was very early on. It was in 2021 when I was still very green with YouTube, and I hired it was a 1 hour consult with a very well-known YouTuber who doesn't offer that service anymore, and it was like, $600.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And again, he had, hundreds of thousands of subscribers and all that sort of stuff. And I got an hour with him. It was so amazing. And, after the hour, he's like, I still have another half hour, why don't we work through some other things? And I'm like, really? And it's, so I was just amazed that he did that. I mean, obviously, if he didn't have the time, he wouldn't have offered it. But he could have said, well, okay, that's the hour, we have to end. So it was something I'd kind of done before, but it really validated for me that, it's okay to go the extra mile a little bit. It really is. And people appreciate that. And it was one of those situations where it's not like I could have, milked it for 2 hours or something like that. I got an hour and a half for that, but that just stuck with me. It's a little, I don't know if it's a little thing, but that stuck with me. It really did.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it makes, maybe not the extra mile bit of it, but just the humanity of it sometimes is really nice. You probably sensed it in you. I mean, when I've helped people out the most is when you can just sense that I can help a bit more here, and it wouldn't take much more of my time. I'm in the zone now. I know they'll appreciate it, and that sometimes really does just, you can tell in the other person's face that they really, really appreciate it. And I think that's a really nice place. That's a really nice thing to give someone, if you can do it, and some of your time and resource and care. And the final aha moment question is a life hack. A personal aha moment or life hack that you recommend for other people.
Take breaks and schedule them in your calendar. So what I do now is in the morning, I look at the weather. I look in the weather app, and again, which is in Celsius, which is like, yay me. And and I also look at the UV index, and I say, okay, when am I going to take my 2-mile walk?
Right.
Now, I would say I'm normally very good at it. I have not done it yet today, but I should be able to do it right afterwards. But I normally get a 2-mile walk in sometime in the middle of the day, which is really, really nice. So taking a break, or even, for example, and I already mentioned this before our conversation here, I was, testing the recipe again, but it's also because I was editing a video and I'm like, my eyes are getting crossed. Like I just can't put any more creative juices into the video again, but I want to be productive with something. So let it be my obsession with the recipe contest. And, so I took a break and I spent an hour just trying to say, okay, what's this version going to look like? What are the proportions going to be? And it just helped me get a whole lot more refreshed. So schedule in breaks. We're not meant to, how do I put it? We think that, okay, we're going to work until we're 65, 70 or something like that. And then we'll have fun, but the age, well, actually I'm 54, so I'm already old, but we're still at an age where we're healthy enough to really, really enjoy life. So shouldn't we give ourselves those opportunities to enjoy life and not wait until maybe we can enjoy life?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I've always felt the benefit of I've gone through phases where, okay, I just need to get stuff done. And in short bursts, that's fine. But then if it's extended, even for 3 days where you have a few late nights, I've been there where I've been at 2 o'clock in the morning and looking at the screen and I can't see the wood for the trees and nothing useful is coming out of my hands. And then you go to sleep and wake up and think, oh, I know exactly what to do now. And that's great. And if I'd gone to sleep 3 hours earlier, I would have felt even more refreshed and probably had even more energy the next day. And it's always a false economy. It's super often a false economy. And also another anecdotal thing there is in my previous career, I used to work in engineering, and that was very much like you do 40 hours in the week, no more, no less. If you did more, then you get paid a handsome amount per hour that you work more. So often they wouldn't do that. So that meant that every lunchtime, I pretty much had an hour or more to do because I worked 9 to 5 and then spend the time. So I'd often go for a run, for a swim, just for a walk. And I'd always come back feel like a completely new person to where I was. And that was always interesting to me that even if I was exercising ostensibly more fatigued, I'd still feel fresher. And that's something I can't do right now, but I really, really want to get back to a stage where I can definitely carve out a regular thing and do, like I say, a 2-mile walk like you're doing. So it's something that that's something I should put on my whiteboard to make sure I can get to that stage ASAP.
Or just do it. Just tomorrow morning, or tomorrow's Saturday, but when we're recording, that is. Okay, we're recording on a Friday right now. But, just wake up and say, okay, when am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And just commit to that. You have to make, just like we make appointments with our clients or with the doctor and stuff like that, you have to make appointments with yourself. You just have to make appointments with yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
That's my
Brooke, I'm sure, I don't want to speak for you, but are you happy for people to connect with you on LinkedIn? We'll put the links in the show notes.
No, yeah, absolutely. Please. I would love that. So yeah, just look for Brooke Miles, Delaware shout out. Yeah. Or you could put Brooke Miles, LinkedIn strategist or something like that, and you'll find me. Yeah. And
I'll get the link from you. It'll be in the show notes and also the YouTube comments. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for guiding me somewhat through LinkedIn. And it's been great to know that, again, great to know that people have the same struggles or go through the same periods. But it's nice to know sometimes you're not alone going through those things.
Thank you.
But yeah.
This has been great. Thank you. And, I feel like we all, especially when you have these conversations outside of LinkedIn, you realize that it's real normal people behind all of it. It really is. And that's what makes things really refreshing. It's just being willing to have those conversations, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much Brooke for being a fantastic guest. It's been a pleasure to get to know you over the past few years via LinkedIn, via YouTube. So, guys, if you are on YouTube, do head to Delaware Shoutout and find her account right now. Whilst you're here, I'm going to do all the good things that podcasters ask you to do. If you're on YouTube, please comment below, like and subscribe to this channel. If you're not on YouTube, but you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Pocket Cast, or any other of the different ways you can listen to podcasts, please do leave a comment. Please do rate. Please do share with one friend. If this episode has resonated with you, please share with one friend who you think will get a really good kick out of it.